If I told you that most of the decisions in your life are not actually made by you, but by an invisible voice sitting quietly inside your mind, you might not believe it. Yet this was exactly how Alex's life was unfolding. On the surface he was an ordinary guy, working a corporate job in Chicago, following the same routine every day, but inside his head there was a constant whisper telling him, "You're not enough." And this quiet pressure eventually pushed him to see a psychologist, where he learned that the human mind works like a building filled with rooms, each holding a different part of who we are. And among them there is one room, room number 13, where childhood fears, shame, failures, and other people's words are stored and quietly control our behavior. During a guided self-hypnosis session with Dr. Sam Miller, an experienced psychologist from New York, Alex finds himself standing in front of that room, and inside he sees his younger self, small and scared, surrounded by the same negative voices that shaped his self-doubt for years. But the moment he realizes those voices are not his own, only echoes of school, society, and past experiences, he finally confronts them and says, "I am not broken, I am not weak, I am enough." And with those words the shadow that had been running his life begins to fade. Alex believes this is the end of his struggle, but the real journey begins when opening room 13 causes the other rooms to awaken. Like sealed doors in an abandoned mental institution suddenly creaking open, each revealing truths most people spend their lives avoiding. As his dreams grow clearer and longer and he walks down an endless hallway accompanied by the opportunities he once rejected out of fear, realizing that fear is not just a voice but a path that slowly pulls a person away from their own potential. The doors now carry names instead of numbers: failure, shame, comparison, loneliness, and Alex understands that room 13 was only the control room, while the real prison was built from these labels that silently shaped his choices. Leading him through memories of classrooms, boardrooms, and relationships where the voices he feared were nothing more than reflections of his past, and when he finally asks, "Are these words really mine?" the walls begin to crack, because the mind fears questions more than answers. Mirrors appear, showing every version of himself, the man he could have become, the man he wanted to be, and the man he never dared to try becoming. And when Alex says, "I'm not perfect, but I'm aware," the mirrors shatter, because awareness is the one thing the mind cannot control, followed by a deep silence heavier than fear itself. Where Alex realizes his mind is no longer trying to stop him but is finally listening. When he wakes up, the city, the job, and the streets remain the same, but his relationship with life has changed. As he begins to notice how the mind traps people not only through fear but through comfort-seeking habits like, "Not now, maybe later," and "This isn't for me," and whenever he feels sudden exhaustion he asks himself, "Am I actually tired? Or is my mind protecting its comfort zone?" A question that becomes the key to his freedom, helping him see that what he once believed was his personality was actually a collection of survival mechanisms learned long ago, and instead of anger he feels compassion for his younger self. Alex then becomes aware of another space, room 0, where there is no fear, no identity, only emptiness, and for the first time emptiness does not scare him, because he understands it is not a lack but the starting point of possibility. Allowing him to see others differently as well, recognizing that everyone is trapped inside their own mental rooms, which makes things feel less personal and more human. Life eventually tests him again through failure when a major project collapses and doubts return, but this time Alex feels the fear without obeying it, understanding that emotions are signals, not commands. And slowly his inner voice transforms from a critic into a guide that asks, "What do you really want? And who would you choose to be without fear?" Leading him to show honesty in relationships, lose some people, keep others, and accept that authenticity never pleases everyone. And one day he realizes he no longer needs to visit room 13 because fear no longer hides, it speaks openly, and in that moment he understands that healing is not about erasing the past but about no longer being afraid of it. So if you ever feel like your own thoughts are exhausting you, remember this: you are not weak, you are waking up, and waking up is painful, but that pain is what leads a person to stop living from fear and start living from understanding. Because freedom does not begin outside, it begins the moment you take the pen back and become the author of your own mind.